Good morning. My name is Mike Kelleher. I am the Executive Director of the Maryland MEP, and I am pleased to be joined today by Chad Schneider of Root3 Labs, who is our Make It in Maryland Manufacturer of the Month Spotlight Series. Chad, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. This is going to be fun. So yeah, like you said, I'm from Root3 Labs. I'm the president and founder. We help our customers turn ideas into prototypes and prototypes into finished products. So a lot of the work that we're doing is designing things in CAD, which is computer design software, and then we'll go out in the workshop and build those prototypes. And we've got a full metal shop, a wood shop. We do 3D printing and laser cutting and electronics. We even do sewing and with textiles and things like Kevlar thread and fiberglass materials, things like that. And so we're spending about half our time out there building prototypes and testing them, and then trying to make those things manufacturable in much higher volumes.
Very cool. So you guys are truly working with entrepreneurs and inventors and companies and creators to take these ideas from concept to commercialization. How did you get started in that? How does someone wake up one day and say, I want to start this company, Root3, and do all of these cool things?
Well, I've been doing this type of thing for a long time. I've been in engineering consulting for over 20 years. It was the first job out of college. I got an undergraduate degree in mechanical engineering, and my first job out of school was doing railroad track inspection for an engineering consulting company. So I'd travel around and fix things that went wrong when we're on the train, and we might be 30 or 100 miles from the nearest town or even a road. And so whatever we had on hand is what we got to do, to fix it and make it run, because we still had to perform the testing of the track as we're out there. And so it really spoke to my skills, or developed my skills in making things work in ways that we were able to do it. So sort of sometimes that's what we'd call jury rigging, or sometimes it is making do with the materials, or fixing things, just being creative in solutions. And so after that, I went back to school and got a master's degree in mechanical engineering and medical robotics. That really helped solidify a lot of the technical skill. And I worked in the field doing engineering consulting, medical device design for many years, and then decided one day that, well, it wasn't one day, but I took the leap and started my own company. And I started it myself out of my house, like a lot of people do, and I had quite a lot of tools in my home workshop, and I started buying some things, and I had, a 3D printer, I had a CNC router, I had a laser cutter. Once I hired my first employee, I knew I needed to get out of that space. I needed a place where we could congregate and work on hardware together.
So an engineer working on the railroad, pun intended, to an engineer that has now a successful emerging business serving this engineering design prototyping space. What does a client look like for you? Who are you trying to help? What are the problems that you're trying to solve at Root3?
So our ideal client is someone who needs engineering design help. And that could be an inventor. It could be a small business. It could even be, we work for very large companies that don't have that specific skill set. So a lot of manufacturers might have manufacturing engineers who are working on their equipment, who are making it run, who are designing the tools that help them manufacture parts. Whereas what we're doing is designing the parts that go into those processes. And it's a different skill set. So we are thinking much more upfront in the concept space, all the things that you can possibly consider. And so the design engineer is going to be a slightly different skill set. And so we'll work with companies that don't have that design engineering resource, or they might just be expanding their product line and don't have the resources to go and think about new things.
Can you talk about some of the projects? What are some of the cooler, more interesting or more challenging projects that you all have been involved in?
Well, as you alluded to, we have a lot of confidentiality when we're working on things that maybe aren't on the market yet. But some of the cool projects we get to work with are, people who come up with ideas, and we get to turn those into real things. Like we worked with a emergency medicine doctor who came up with this new way to insert a feeding tube under ultrasound guidance. And he came to us with a 2x4 and some magnets and sort of demonstrated what he'd like to do. And multiple design iterations and prototypes later, we had something that was eventually cleared by the FDA and is now ready for manufacturing. I think they might be manufacturing it. And why that's important is people can access ultrasound in a lot more remote facilities than what you would normally do, which is use it under CT, which is only in your major medical centers. So if you're using a feeding tube, it can come out and you have other health issues. Going to the nearest big city might be hard. And there are lots of other projects where we get to develop just the, someone might have a crazy problem that we solve, or someone might have a solution that they're not sure is going to work. So we get to build a prototype of that. We've worked on a personnel tracker that is used in for police and fire and first responders and military. And it has to be waterproof and it has to be shockproof, and you have to be able to get a fully laden soldier or firefighter laying on it and not break it. They can, and those guys are, the capacity is like 400 pounds for them to be able to stand on it. So it's not insignificant when you're trying to make it lightweight and small and plastic and, things like that. And it's a lot of fun, just the different types of work that we do. What's really interesting, I think, for me and for all of our employees is the, I guess, excitement, but just it keeps your interest when projects come in the door and you don't really know what they're going to be, and you don't know what skill set you're going to be called upon to use. We might learn a new skill and get really deep in the weeds of how it works, and then not use that skill for 6 years or something. Like
with that kind of creative, problem-solving, entrepreneurial spirit, what makes a good team member at Root3? What do you look for in your employees that are going to be successful with your organization?
Well, it's a lot about passion for the work, passion for problem solving. It's a lot about persistence, not giving up on problems, not giving up on, you don't have a solution quickly. And so thinking about, when is it a good opportunity to step back? When is it a good opportunity to keep pushing forward? Being efficient. So efficiency is an interesting way to characterize it. It's not about being fast. It's about being effective. Someone who can look at something and say, this is all I need to do is make something, hold this in a certain orientation. That can be wood or plastic. Should it be 3D printed? Should it be machined aluminum? Those kind of things, like, is it worth the time, or can I just stick it to the side of something with duct tape and make it work? Those kind of things are efficiency, doing what is needed at the time and to get the effect that you need or the outcome that you need. What does the future look like for Root3? What does the next couple of years look like? I think the next couple of years, and I'm saying this being unable to plan the next couple of weeks, but because of everything going on, but the next couple of years for the company are growth in our staff and skill sets, and our, the people that I'm working with, our team. So we moved into our current space in 2019, which was doubling our last space. So we've got lots of space in the workshop. We've got lots of space in the offices. We want to expand our capabilities and get more people in here. We always have summer interns. So that's always fun to get fresh faces in. And we're hiring. So I think from our perspective, it's all about expanding our capabilities.
I love it. I love the excitement. Anything else? Anything else you want the viewers to know about Root3 and what you guys are doing?
It's fun. I enjoy coming to work, and I think all of our employees do too. I mean, I talk to everyone about what's going on and the culture here, and sort of trying to keep a fun place to work. And from an owner's perspective, I think it may be challenging, but from the actuality of making a place that's fun to work is like making a place that I would enjoy working.
That is fantastic. Awesome, Chad. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us and participating.
Hey, my pleasure. This was fun.